course you know these folks from the CW's The Flash. Woo! You know her is Iris West. Please give it up for Candice! Welcome, guys. Welcome. Well, this is great because you get to do a show that's like literally in the backyard of your production. Do you guys really feel like your production is part of Vancouver now? Have you really been embraced by the city?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's weird. I was driving around the other day to go to boxing and I saw Big Belly Burger. And I was like, who's filming at Big Belly Burger and I'm not invited and I'm not in that scene? So yeah, there's so many locations in the city that we've, had our mark on, and it feels really special. I feel like the city has really embraced us and our production.
Yeah.
Did anybody else notice the boxing part of that answer?
Yeah.
Right? How kick-ass is that? I was just driving around going to boxing. Oh, all right. Anyway, just mind my P's and Q's when I talk to this woman, that's for sure.
Well, certainly because you after boxing you have earned that Big Belly Burger. Is that I keep wondering, like, is that the one constant of all of like the multiverse? Big Belly Burger, is that across the board? I feel like that's like the thing that pins all the Earths together.
Yeah, even Barry couldn't ruin that. No
Yeah.
matter what timeline, Big Belly will be there.
God knows he tried. That should be like the season 3 cliffhanger right there.
And did everything he could, and couldn't bring down Big Belly Burger. I get paid, by the way. That's a fun fact that not everybody knows. I get paid in Big Belly Burgers.
I really want to have one. I want them to exist in my life, right?
They're amazing. You should try them.
Yeah. So Tom, let me ask a question about HR. Of course, we're gonna keep it sort of spoiler light, but we did have an episode this week. We'll have another episode next week. But the thing I like about this Wells is he's not perfect. He's not like the best at his job. The other guys that we've seen, they've been these top scientists and everything. Is that sort of make it more fun to play that we have a toddler on the floor? Clearly not a fan.
So not impressed.
Yeah. But is that like sort of make him fun to play since he's a bit of a con man and he's not like the top guy at his job?
Yeah. Now, you and I, we've talked a lot, and you know that I can throw you under a bus anytime I want. You're aware of that, right?
Yes.
Yes, of course. I think what is enjoyable about playing HR is the same sort of thing, it sounds weird to say, that was enjoyable about playing Harry last year, that when I create these guys, I try and find pockets that our show doesn't have, and so you have intelligence, and you have acting ability, and you have like goodness, and there's a lot of our characters that reflect some of the same things that Candice brings. Grant notwithstanding, he's doing action, but also this is a really good guy, and he plays the Flash. But it didn't feel like we had a daily antagonist last year. We had a big bad, which Teddy Sears. I mean, this might be, in terms of a guy who played like the most evil character, but was the best human being away when he's outside the mask, that would be Teddy Sears. We had like an overall big bad last year in Zoom, but we didn't have a daily antagonist creating conflict for the group. That's what I threw in. But this year I thought, you know what, that was fun. I did that. I don't want to repeat that. But what I could do was comedy, because we don't really have a lot of times when, the multiverse is being ripped apart, humor is not the first thing that comes to mind. And I thought, but, in the Butch and Sundance kind of way, anytime there's a dire situation, it's great to have humor. And I thought, well, Harry would, HR would add that, and how could he do that? Well, maybe if he was a bit of a con man. And so I really enjoy playing the guy that's, I know what I'm talking about. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, in right back to back, he's always like, it's this, it's not this though. So he plays in those contradictions, and I enjoy playing it.
Yeah, I
It's not fun for these guys, though. It's not the best.
It's actually very fun.
All I do is, when we're doing takes, is like, you know, at one point, and this isn't giving too much away, Candice walked in, and you know, she walked in with like fervor and intent, and she also looked amazing. And HR is a bit of a ladies' man, or perceives himself as a bit of a ladies' man. And so like there were no lines there, but she walked in, and my thing was like, looks a and then it became like, wow, wait, wow, and then it became, wow, sorry, Joe, wow, sorry, Larry, wow. And it just builds and builds and builds, and everyone's like, can we just get on with our day?
I was saying this at another convention, and I'll say it again. You know, I haven't gotten to work with Tom a lot over the course of this show, and I'm getting a lot more of that this season. And as an actor, he's one of my favorite other actors to work with because he is always improvising and always trying to make the material exciting and better. And as an actor, when you're playing against someone like that, you can't come too prepared. You have to be willing to play with Tom, and so it allows for very...
I didn't do a thing. I didn't do a thing. I just stood here. I just sat here.
Case in point. Case in point. You gotta be ready when you're with Tom, and it makes it so much fun to go to work because I know I'm not gonna just say lines when I'm in a scene with Tom. I get to listen, and it's gonna be new and different, and we can create something that just isn't on the script, and that's really fun. So
kind and generous. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, Iris, it seems like, has had some lighter moments this season thus far. She seems like just you know, and pardon me for saying so, but in the earlier seasons, sometimes the writers made her not the most understanding person and a little bit harder edged at times, but she seems to be, I don't know, a little bit more settled in, a little bit more light. Is that something that you would agree with, and are you enjoying a bit of that lightness with the character?
I enjoy the lightness in her, but I enjoy the darkness in her too, because I think that makes a full, well-rounded woman. And I think to say that we need to have women on television that are just light is problematic for me. If we think about what Iris was actually dealing with, her entire family was lying to her season 1. Her mother was out of her life and in her life, and then tragically died. And then she found out she had a brother she knew nothing about. So I think a lot of her emotions were justified, and also her boyfriend was killed season 1. So she was going through a lot of things, and her emotions were absolutely justified. And I think this season we're seeing her kind of move forward in that.
Yeah.
So I like both sides of her personality, and I think they're equally important.
Yeah, when you put it that way, she did sort of have a lot of bummer stuff going on.
Yeah, I just think sometimes we give women a hard time for having a full range of emotion, and so I'm proud that I could play a woman that.
So now that she has...
She's resilient, but more than resilient, I'm going to interrupt. Also, the current episode that we're shooting is personally my favorite of the Iris West storylines that have come along, and I'm not going to give anything away about it. But if you remember the date that I said, the thing we were shooting, right now there's this delicious scene-stealing, phenomenal arc that's happening in the days that we're shooting right now, which is, I can't give it away. I can't say anything about it. I can't really say anything about it, but it's great. Wait till you see. It's just like it's. Remember that I said it was awesome.
You'll know it when you see it.
Yes, it is.
Well, I've been trying to delay this, but Elmo has a question, and God help us all.
Hey, who knew when the day broke you would be throwing that sentence out there, right?
Right. You're not playing for that.
That's right.
Hi, Tom. Tom, how liberating has it been?
I can't hear you in that voice. You have to erudite.
How liberating has it been to play 3 completely different characters?
I still only made out a couple of those words.
Here's what I heard. Characters. So I'm going to assume, Elmo, that you're saying what's it like to play different characters somewhere in that ballpark?
What's it like?
Whoa, oh, holy
God.
Whoa!
This is sort of like
We got
elevated the nightmare.
Elmo. Whoa, dude, that's a whole revelation right there for me.
Sorry, how liberating as it is as an actor to be able to have the space to create 3 completely different characters season over season?
3. Anyone want to correct him on his math? Thank you. 1. Real Harrison Wells, fake Harrison Wells, Harry Wells, reverse flash,
4.
H.O. Wells.
5. 5. Okay, 5.
But that's nitpicking, right? Let's get back to the question.
Well, that doesn't even account all of the sort of audition Wells, right?
Sure, yeah. Hell's Wells.
Hell's Wells. Did you? Yeah. What are all their names?
There's Meme Wells.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hell's Wells.
Hell's Wells.
Steampunk Wells.
Steampunk.
Yeah, and there's a couple guys that never made the screen. But anyway, we'll get some outtakes of those for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a bunch of Wells.
A lot of Wells.
We're right near double digits, I believe, in the Wells. Meanwhile, back at the question. It's great. is that anything? Any actor will tell you, oftentimes, one of the great things about doing this show is, normally when you sign on to a pilot, you're assigned one role, and then if you're fortunate and the show goes for a few seasons, you're playing that same character. And for all of us, we get to go Earth 2 and see what Iris is like on Earth 2, or Earth 3, or so on and so forth. I get to play the guy in the wheelchair pretending to be another guy while he's disguising the fact that he's this badass villain from another place, and then create a guy who's just a daily antagonist from a different world, and now currently a guy from Earth 19, who's a bit of a con man. And so I think any actor will tell you it's a privilege to be able to forge different things within the context of a long-running show. I think it's incredible, and I'm grateful for it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have you thought about the fact that there's a Earth out there made up entirely